It's a confusing time, the Sephora sale. That's all I can say. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Beth, and for today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you my Sephora haul. So my makeup is partially applied, so this is going to be in part a try-on haul, so any items that I'm able to demo on camera, I will do that. And I do have makeup, skincare, hair care, and I'll be talking about some fragrance as well. So I did receive my order pretty quickly because I think I ordered at like 12:01 on, I guess, Friday morning when the sale went live. So that part of the order did ship pretty quickly. And then I have some other items that I'll talk about later on that I'll just have to show you a picture because they haven't shipped yet. It's usually what happens with these sales is they get kind of backed up. So the later orders do tend to ship later. And then I also have one pickup order that I'll tell you about, but I'll be able to show you the, I guess, majority of what I purchased. So I thought I would quickly tell you what I have on my eyes in case you are interested in purchasing it. I didn't get this during the, has fingerprints. I didn't get this during the Sephora sale. I purchased it from the ABH website when it launched. But I do have a swatch video up of this and the mini Renaissance palettes. So I just thought I would do a look with it in case you were interested. I have seen a lot of people haul this from Sephora during the sale. And just to let you know, I have basically this shade in the crease with a little bit of that shade in the outer corner, and then that shade in the inner corner, and this middle shade here kind of towards the end. Like I said, I do have a video on this palette and comparing it to the original full-size Sultry. So what I would say as kind of an addendum to my original video, for me this is not going to be an everyday palette. If you have a deeper skin tone, you might find it a little bit more kind of everyday friendly, but even this kind of light matte that I put in the crease did go on very pigmented, and it took a little bit of effort to blend. So if you also have a fair or light skin tone, I would say maybe this is really good for like a travel palette if you're going to holiday events and that kind of thing and you want a more dramatic look. I think the pigment levels of this are just going to make it a little bit harder to use as kind of an everyday palette, unless, like I said, you have a deeper complexion and they're just closer to your skin tone. And I guess on that note as well, I still think this would make a good gift, but I think I would recommend it more for someone who was pretty, I guess, experienced with makeup, or again, someone who had a deeper complexion where they could use this a little bit more easily. But like I said, if you are fair, it did take a little bit of work to blend. And I think I mentioned in that video that there was one shade in the original Sultry that I really wanted it to have, which was kind of like a matte cream that is really helpful in like blending out shades and that kind of thing. So again, if you are fair, I just reached for my Charlotte Tilbury kind of face powder to kind of blend things out, which is easy enough because chances are you are going to be, I guess, traveling with this or have this anyway, but it is something I found that I needed. So just to kind of give you an update on that, and I think that's probably everything you would be interested in hearing about. I did use the Makeup by Mario Enhancer as well because I wanted to add a little bit of color and shape to the face without powdering, and that leads me to the first item I purchased, which is the Ciele powder. I did film some B-roll, so I'll find a way to insert that. But yeah, I purchased this. This retails for $38, and I actually purchased this before the sale, so I didn't get a discount on it. But they had as a sample the Candy Glaze in the original like light pink kind of translucent color, which looks like that, and that is what I'm wearing on my lips right now. So I just wanted to be able to try that, and I figured I might as well just pay full price for this. I did also purchase this as kind of a trial balloon to see if my FSA, which is a flexible spending account, basically allows you to put money aside pre-tax to purchase certain healthcare items, which include acne products and like SPF products. So I wanted to see if they would reimburse me for this, and unfortunately they did not. So I purchased this, and then I thought maybe if they did reimburse me, I would purchase the tint and the blush. But anyway, I ended up paying for this kind of out of pocket, if you will. I don't, I guess, mind having an SPF face powder because of any like SPF makeup product. Because you're supposed to reapply sunscreen, I think the easiest way to do that is with a powder like this. So I feel like it's something I can use, but I think any kind of complexion products that you put on your face are going to act a little bit as a physical barrier anyway. I mean, don't rely on any makeup for your sunscreen, but this is in the shade Translucent, I believe, and it comes in 3 different shades. And like I said, I already did kind of get into this. I should also mention that in the B-roll footage, I had already kind of opened a lot of the packages and kind of looked at the products at least. So if you see any fingerprints or kind of torn boxes, that was me. It wasn't like anything dodgy from Sephora. So this is going to be really messy. Yeah, not always a huge fan of loose powder, but let's see how much we can kind of clean up here. So it comes with a little puff, which I guess I can try using. I feel like when I open this, it has a weird smell to it, which is kind of odd, and you can see the foundation is settling a little bit. Just to let you know what I am wearing as a foundation, I applied the Revlon Illuminance foundation because I purchased the tint from Amazon and it's due to arrive on Monday. So I just wanted to use this again so it was kind of fresh in my mind as to how it applies and everything like that. And underneath it, I have the Make Reverse Emulsion as kind of my hydrating prep step. If you do have dry skin, especially going into the winter, I highly recommend looking into this product to give you that kind of super hydrated base for makeup. As you can see, I'm looking quite shiny and I do have dry skin. So let's see what we can do with this puff. And yeah, I've said before, I'm generally not a huge fan of loose powder, but I seem to keep buying them. So I just wanted to kind of see how this does. It does mattify quite a bit, as you can see. And that is the Translucent. What brush do I want to use? I think I'll switch over to this small tapered brush and kind of kick off where I maybe got too much powder. But yeah, that is the before and after with the powder. Yeah, as you can see, it does have kind of that mesh. Perhaps not my favorite, but it'll do. So let's see, kind of, I think with a brush, especially one this small, you can see that's a little bit softer. So I'm going to go back in with the puff. It does, I mean, they say this is translucent, but I think it does look a tad yellow compared to, I'm not trying to bake here. I'm just trying to get kind of an even application using the puff. And I know you can kind of work the puff and that kind of thing to get it into the puff a little bit more, but generally my forehead is what is prone to be the shiniest anyway. So again, just kind of dipping in. Haven't set underneath my eyes or anything like that. That is how the under eye looks. Yeah, it almost smells like, this is gonna sound weird, but it almost smells like it has kind of a Christmassy scent. I don't know what about it that I'm smelling, but yeah, it almost has kind of like pine and orange. I don't really know. So I'm using a little bit of a bigger brush from BK. This is the 103 for kind of the larger cheek area. All right, so definitely set the face. Well, I think I got a little bit extra there. If I didn't have such a kind of luminous base already, I feel like this powder is going to be on the more mattifying side. So if you do have dry skin, maybe that is something to note. But again, taking into account, like, I guess the use case for this powder, like it's more likely going to be during the summer. Again, we're SPF all year round, but to like reapply powder and I guess just using powder in general, it's probably going to be during the summer months. You're going to be a little bit more dewy anyway. So going back into this little Sultry palette, which you can see has powder on it. I'm going back into that like shade there for underneath the eyes. I did just purchase the Ciele powder. So I feel like I always seem to purchase loose powders, even though they're not my favorite. I don't know. Something about the component sometimes just gets me, and they just seem really attractive. It's like an old school kind of makeup item almost. But yeah, they have, if you've ever used Shop Pay, I think a lot of retailers will direct you to them as kind of a way to check out or whatever. And they have an app, and what I've noticed is they have this rewards program where you accrue points from purchases, I guess, and I don't know if it's 1% or I'm just going to go back in a little bit with this powder and a Rephr 26 brush. Rephr is also having a crazy kind of November Black Friday sale where a lot of their brushes are, I think, more than 50% off. So if you ever considered Rephr, now would probably be a good time to purchase. But yeah, with the app, they give you kind of money back that you can spend at other retailers, and certain retailers at various times will have like a points multiplier. So I think I had like, I don't know, $4 or $5 worth of points, and Ciele had like a 5 times the points offer. So I was able to get the translucent setting powder, which I think retails for like 20 something, for around $5 or $6, which obviously is a better deal than purchasing it from like Sephora or probably a Ciele during a sale. So yeah, so you do have to pay shipping, I think, in most cases, but still, I think the money I spent was mostly just on shipping. So I kind of figured, why not? Yeah, but I've seen like Skin Fix on there, Glamnetic, I think. I mean, I don't know. It's something to look into, I guess, if you use that platform a lot. So I guess on this little YSL Candy Glaze, I do like it. At the end of the day, it's kind of like a really expensive lip balm in this shade. I know they just came out with the holiday packaging, which is pretty, but I don't know. I'll probably hold off on purchasing it and just see if I feel like I'm buying it down the road. I did want to also try out, I didn't purchase this from Sephora, I purchased this from YSL, but this is the shade 5 Pink Satisfaction. So I just thought I would quickly swatch this. I'm doing a lot of lip swatches tonight, so my poor lips, but yeah, I just thought I would kind of try this on for you, because it seems like the whole internet has lost its mind over this product. So I don't know that this eye look and this lip color go together. I was kind of going for something fairly neutral on the lids, but I mean, it's pretty. I think I would probably just purchase this shade if you're looking for this kind of finish, because you can always use like a lip liner or something else underneath to give you that effect, and then you're a little bit more flexible, especially when you're spending that kind of money on this kind of product. Okay, so that was, I think, everything for that kind of pre-Sephora order. I think I got 2 samples. I don't know that I necessarily picked these, but especially during the sale period, like, I feel like what you select is not necessarily what you get. This was the ABH Foundation and the Viktor & Rolf Spice Bomb Infrared. It's a men's fragrance. And I think I forgot powder everywhere. I think I forgot to select samples for my actual like VIB order, which is fine. It's not a big deal. Okay, so let's talk about, should we do hair care next? So I purchased 2 hair care items, and these are both, I guess, influencer recommendations. So the first item is a travel size of the Color Wow 1 Minute Transformation Styling Cream. This is 1.7 fluid ounce, and Angie, Angelica Nyqvist, recommended this. So I don't remember exactly what she said about it. I was kind of listening, I guess, in one ear, but it says, create the perfect style in under 60 seconds. Developed for color-treated hair, this all-in-one formula transforms parched, unruly hair into glossy, polished style without blow-drying hair from wet. Apply a small amount to frizzy, unruly areas and brush through with a flat brush to smooth away frizz. Or for a more professional finish, wrap unruly sections around a round brush and hit with a blow dryer for 15 seconds for use on dry hair. So I kind of already slicked back my hair, parted it in the middle, because I thought I could show you this product on one side and then this Crown Affair, the finishing gel, on the other. So this is second day hair, and like I said, I parted it in the middle and just used a little scrunchie to tie it back. So I don't know that this is really the most flattering hairstyle on me, but this kind of clean girl slicked back bun is really popular. And when I do want to go out with second day hair, like you can see, I do have a lot of frizz. I have naturally wavy hair, so I mean, I can kind of tamp it down with like the Quick Slick from insert name here, which is kind of like a mascara wand with a hair gel. But anyway, I just thought I would try out some different options. So I thought I would just quickly show you this on one side. And this one has a very kind of thick consistency. It's like a nice, I don't know if you would say citrusy. So I'm not sure if this is really kind of how you're supposed to use it, but I mean, yeah, it looks like it kind of took down some of the frizz. I'll just kind of, I guess, comb through it. So I typically don't go that long without washing my hair. If I blow dry it, I can usually extend it a little bit longer, but normally I wash it pretty frequently. So that was the Color Wow. I think this little guy retails for $12. I also got the Crown Affair Finishing Gel, like I said, and this is something that Khaki has talked about, and I think I've had this on my radar. She's mentioned it in at least a couple videos. Like I remember her mentioning it kind of before the sale period, and then I think she mentioned it again during her like recommendations video. So this has been on my radar for quite a while, and what she said about it was that it's a gel that you don't have to, like you can comb it out kind of thing. Make sure I get it on the right side, the left side in this case. And it also, this smells amazing. I'll talk about that in a second. But so I've been interested in this for a while. It's kind of been on my wish list, and let's comb that out as well. If I can find the comb I just put down. Okay. So yeah, it does smell amazing. I really wish they had this in a travel size. I even looked at their website to see if they sold one there, and unfortunately they don't. So I guess initial thoughts, like both sides look pretty similar. If I have any updates to provide, I feel like this is a horrible look. If I have any updates to provide, like tomorrow, I guess. I think tomorrow we're kind of running some errands, so I might just kind of not wash my hair tomorrow morning. So we'll see kind of how things are looking. But yeah, I think both definitely tamp down frizz, but you can probably say that of a lot of hair products. Yeah, so I can't speak to kind of the long-term effects or anything. Again, not totally sure that this is the best look on me. And to be honest, I probably wouldn't part my hair like this. I would probably just slick the whole thing back. But I wanted to be able to show you both. But I do like, I think, this scent better. I don't think there's anything bad about this scent, but I mean, if you just wanted to go by the scent alone, in fact, Crown does sell, or Crown Affair, they have a hair perfume as well. It's called their Signature Scent Hair Fragrance. So, and that retails for $85 for 3.4 ounces or 100 ml. So that's a lot. So it has a whole list of notes. So top notes are bergamot, yuzu, lemongrass. It says it starts with a burst of citrus for an instant mood boost. The mid notes are calla lily, freshwater lotus, and green tea. It says opens to a feeling of freshness and calm. The base notes are teakwood, sandalwood, cedar, and amber, which stay with you throughout the day with a subtle warmth. So yeah, obviously people like their fragrance. I feel like I still have the beauty of this lens, and the kind of focal length is that you can really see a lot of flaws here. I think it's good for kind of getting a lot of the hair. I need to go back to get my hair colored in a couple weeks, but I think this is This is good for a little bit more of a targeted application, and you know, I didn't want to kind of overly saturate my hair, but I just feel like I look Amish or something. I mean, not like there's anything wrong with that, but I'm also getting some goop. Very technical makeup term there in the corners of my mouth from that lip color. Okay, so that was it for hair care. All right, so for skincare, I purchased an item I didn't necessarily think I would ever repurchase, and that is the Tower 28 SOS Daily Rescue Facial Spray. I just got the travel size. This is 1 fluid ounce. So I did a Tower 28 focus video a while back. So I'd gone through a whole bottle of this before they'd kind of done this redesign. So it was kind of like a clear bottle with stickers as opposed to this orange packaging. So I think I said in that video, I wasn't sure if it did anything, but as you can see on the packaging there, it has the little accepted seal from the National Eczema Association, and October, which is when the sale began, is Eczema Awareness Month, as it happens. And I feel like eczema doesn't need to have an awareness month, because if you suffer from eczema, it usually pops up in the fall and you're fully aware of it. You don't need a month. I know some people have it a lot worse than I do, but yeah, especially on my eyelids, I tend to get little spots and that kind of thing. So I was noticing some things with my skin as it's gotten a little cooler, as it's gotten a little drier. So I thought I would just kind of pick this up in the travel size. I decided not to get the full size because Prequel, which is a new skincare brand from a YouTuber named Dr. Sam Ellis, it's been getting a lot of kind of buzz and that kind of thing. So I've been curious about that brand, and her brand also has several products that are accepted by the National Eczema Association. So they have a hypochlorous spray like this, and theirs is a lot more cost effective, I guess I could say. So theirs is 4 ounce for $17, whereas the Tower 28 is 4 ounce for $28. So even with the discount, I think the Prequel one is a better deal. So I thought I would just get this one, and then maybe I would, you know, purchase the other one at a later date from Prequel. But I did get the full size, it's the only size actually, of the Tower 28 Intensive Rescue Serum. This is pretty affordable for a serum. You get 2 fluid ounce as opposed to, I think most serums are 1 ounce, and it's also only $34. So pretty good deal there. It sounds very liquidy, but again, you'll see in the B-roll that it comes out very like gel-like, but then when you kind of rub it in, it just becomes very thin and that kind of thing. So this has the same, I think, kind of active ingredient of hypochlorous acid. So I was missing this kind of step in my skincare routine, especially for kind of my morning skincare, when I didn't want to go in with like my Paula's Choice azelaic acid treatment, which is something I use almost every night for like rosacea. So when you're kind of battling both rosacea and eczema, so that's azelaic acid, and it also has, I think, 0.5% salicylic acid. So it also helps a little bit with preventing acne and kind of keeping the pores clean and that kind of thing. So that's one of my holy grail skincare items. In fact, I was kind of looking at my package earlier today and thinking it might be time to reorder. I typically just order from Paula's Choice directly though, instead of the Sephora website, because I feel like you can almost always get a 20% off discount from Paula's Choice. And they also have a rewards program where you can get like samples and that kind of thing. So especially if you're only a beauty insider or a VIB, then if you're interested in any Paula's Choice products, I would highly recommend just going to the Paula's Choice website. So I like to use that as a azelaic acid product, but if I don't want to use it, if I want to take a night off just to give my skin a rest, or again, like using it in the morning, that kind of thing, I like having a more calming step like this in my routine. So the last skincare item I got was another travel size. This one is the Laneige Cream Skin Serapeptide. This is a toner and moisturizer, they say, and this is 1.69 fluid ounce. So this is basically the travel size. I think this recently won an Allure Best of Beauty Award. So I was just kind of curious. I really love a good milky toner, and I checked the ingredients and they all seemed good to go. So yeah, so I just thought I would pick up this. This was $16. The full size is $36, but you can also get a refill for $30. So you can save a little bit of money that way if you're repurchasing. They say that this is a comforting milky cream and toner hybrid in a refillable bottle, enriched with nourishing ceramides and peptides for radiant, hydrated skin. So, love ceramides and peptides. I will say though, let me back up for a second. So my go-to toner of late has been the Paula's Choice Nourishing Milky Toner. I don't think this one is on the Sephora website, so you would have to go to Paula's Choice directly. But this one, it says it has, I can't even read this, some kind of japonicus root and hyaluronic acid. These are similar products, but they have different ingredients. Like this one, I don't think has any ceramides or peptides in it. This one has, it says penylene glycol, glycerin, that kind of thing. In this one, the like ceramides and peptides I think are at the very bottom of the ingredient list. So I'm not sure like ingredient wise which one is the best necessarily. You could probably incorporate both. What I will say though is that this one has a thinner texture to it. This one feels a little bit creamier and richer. So especially if you have very dry skin, this one just feels more satisfying to me going on. But I could see myself applying this first, especially since I have it now, and then this second, because generally you want to go in order of like thinnest to heaviest in your skincare routine. So I would do this, I feel like I'm doing the bells, and then I would put either this on or the azelaic acid, and then I would follow it up with a moisturizer, and then possibly an oil at night. So that is kind of what I've been doing. I also just wanted to quickly mention that you can purchase this in a travel size, but the travel size of this is 1 ounce versus, I think I said 1.7 ounce for this guy. So depending on the length of your trip, you know, you might prefer one over the other. The thing that's kind of nice about this little travel size, I mean, I guess you could refill both of them. You just have to like take out the stopper and use a funnel or whatever. But this one in particular, it has a little kind of tab over the opening. This one I think is about to rip off because I've used and abused it. But yeah, that just provides, I think, a little bit more security when traveling, and it's also a smaller jar. So if you're only going for a few days or whatever, then maybe you would just want something like this. Otherwise, like cost effectiveness, you do, I think, get a bigger jar in the full size of the Laneige. This is 4 fluid ounce as opposed to 5.7. So the Laneige is a little bit more expensive out of pocket, but you do get more product. So I think value-wise, they're roughly equivalent, like, you know, maybe a cent or two an ounce, that kind of thing. But yeah, I think for me, this is still my choice. But if you have a background in skincare formulations and you think for some reason the Laneige is leaps and bounds better, then I'd be happy to hear it. Okay, so that is it for skincare. Let's talk about some makeup. So I did upload a reel to Instagram and I guess a short to YouTube, same video, but different terms. This is the Sephora Lip Stories set. Retails for $20, so it's only $14 after the discount because you do get 30% off of Sephora collection products, regardless of your tier. And it says on here it's 1 free Lip Stories lipstick. So I guess these are like $10 a piece normally. And they are a pretty good formula. So like I said, I already filmed a reel swatching these, but I thought I would also do some lip swatches. Like I said, the packaging has kind of already been through it, but that was, I think, mostly my fault. So yeah, so I mostly got this just because I thought the packaging was really cute, the little gingerbread man. As I've said before, I like to kind of put out seasonally themed makeup, and I change it out every season or every month. And so that kind of fit into this, and that's mostly why I wanted to pick up this set. But the Sephora collection lipsticks are really good if you haven't tried them. So if you just wanted a cute little trio of lipsticks to see you through the holiday season without breaking the bank, then you might be interested in this set. The outside of the component is cardboard, and then the interior is plastic, which seems like an interesting choice. I don't know if that's a compromise between like cost and like manufacturing needs, but anyway. So let me remove this lip color. Okay, so just to swatch them quickly on the lips, the first shade is 107. One reason I wanted to film the reel is because the Sephora website doesn't actually have good swatches of the lipsticks. So this, they say, is a metal formulation. It's the shade 107 Let's Celebrate, I believe. And it's a rosy shimmer. So that's the way this looks. I wasn't being like overly careful with my application. I have to say, I think I'd prefer this if it were a cream, like satin formula. But that is Rosy Shimmer. Okay, so the next shade, 106, is Naughty or Nice, and it's a classic creamy red. It looks like these are made in Italy, which is nice. Okay, so this is Naughty or Nice, and this is a cream. I think the two remaining formulas are both creams. I think... Is it looking a little warm? A little on the warm side? I'd say this is a nice kind of weightless formula. I think it's okay with my teeth. It feels very comfortable on the lips. I just don't know if this is the shade I would kind of go for. Again, I did kind of purchase it kind of more on a whim for the cuteness factor than anything else. All right, then the last shade is 108 Sweater Weather. This is a creamy deep berry, they call it. Also a cream. It is nice how they tell you right on the bullet itself what the formulation is. This almost matches my shirt. It's always a little bit of a challenge to get kind of an even application without a lip liner. And I would probably also like touch up, that's kind of a vibe, isn't it? Touch up my concealer. This shade might be my favorite. It might be a little vampy post-Halloween, but I kind of like it. And I could probably use a lip brush as well, but that's all right. All right, so that is the little trio of lipsticks. Again, it's just kind of a, I think Jamie Page's Sephora recommendations video had like a for funsies category, and that's definitely where I would place this. So it's just kind of a fun little holiday themed limited edition product. And then the last product is another holiday limited edition, but it's more in the kind of, I guess, serious makeup category. Unfortunately, I think this is sold out, and it is online only, so you won't be able to hunt it down. But that is the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Glow Blush Duo. Comes with two shades, 50 and 51. 50 is Euphoric and 51 is Amore. It says it includes two of their best-selling shades. Retails for $59. I guess it's a Sephora exclusive. I did check, I think, the Giorgio Armani website to see if they had it as well, and they did not. But if you were to purchase both of these full price, which you certainly could, they would retail for $76. So has a sleeve like so. And this little box, which is actually really nice. I mean, if you already had this, or if it's restocked, like, I think you could just stick a bow on this and give it to someone and they would be pretty happy with that. But if you take off the packaging, that's how they look kind of nestled in there. Like I said, I did already kind of take these out and play with them, so it seems like they're rattling a little bit. But yeah, and this is a case where I don't know if these are the two shades I would have picked out of everything. This is 51, which is Amore. That's kind of a straight up pink. And then 50 is Euphoric, which is kind of like your kind of classic NARS Orgasm shade. I swatched it next to NARS Orgasm and also Deep Throat and even Orgasm X, I think. And my experience swatching, drop it on the floor, why don't you? In my experience swatching this shade is that it is, I think, more pigmented and creamier than NARS Orgasm. When I swatched NARS Orgasm, it just felt drier and like harder pressed. So I think I prefer the formulation of this as a blush, but I haven't actually applied it yet. And I've kind of had my eye on these for a while, but I hadn't purchased any. So when I saw this set pop up, I thought, why not? I feel like half the time when there's like a value set or something, I already own one of the items. I'm not sure if I love this component. Like, it's kind of typical Giorgio Armani type packaging kind of thing, but it feels a little weird in the hand because it's not perfectly like symmetrical and round. It just seems like a little kind of, I don't know, Willy Wonka-ish. So taking my Rephr number 5 brush, which again, check out their sale if you are interested. And I did swatch these on my hand, but this is 51. I saw, I think Tara Lynn talk about these. So that's pretty. I think these are going to be slightly more matte than the Gucci blushes. So if you want maybe a little bit more pigment payoff and a little less sheen, although these don't look dry by any means, but the Gucci ones just have more of, I don't know, almost kind of that hourglass quality to them, I would say. That's very pretty pink blush, 51. Again, not sure if these are the shades I would have chosen, but then it's also kind of nice because sometimes you do get in a rut. So I'm just going to go in with 50, same brush, and just kind of use this a little bit more like on the apples and the high points. And this one, as you can see, has more of that shimmer. So definitely blushed now. I was feeling a little washed out earlier. So yeah, happy with that. I think I can get good use out of those. And while I am just gonna add some bronzer, the Gucci bronzer, I didn't do, like I said, I didn't do like a recommendations video, but if I had, I think this is definitely an item that I would recommend picking up during the sale, because it's hard to find Gucci on sale, especially if you're Rouge, you get 20% off. And yeah, I think it's worth it. I also really like their blush in the shade Rosy Beige. I have the shade Silky Rose as well, which I purchased, I think, during the spring. But for me, this just doesn't do a lot. So if you're going to pick up one of these shades, I definitely recommend Rosy Beige. And I think it's also a really nice complement to the bronzer. Like, the Rosy Beige is a little bit more, as the name would suggest, rosy. So they're not identical, but they do kind of flatter each other and kind of blend well, is what I'm trying to get at. And I just dug my fingernail into my bronzer. I'm kind of actually looking forward to panning this bronzer. And this is definitely a product or component that I really wish they would make refillable. I think it'd be easy enough to do, but oh well. A bronzer does last a really long time, so I will be happy to repurchase if and when I run out. And this is the Rephr 22 brush. This is my favorite bronzer brush. It does shed, as you can see, but I really like having white bristles for a bronzer because then I can really easily see, I guess, how much product is on, even though I guess once you use it, it all looks like product. But I don't know. I thought about getting a new bronzer brush, but for now, this is my go-to. So that is it for everything I have with me. Just to let you know what I've purchased. So I did get a $100 Rouge reward during the sale. I redeemed, I think, 2,500 points to get $100 on a Rouge reward. And if you haven't gotten one of those before, basically you can trade in those points that you've accumulated based on purchases and that kind of thing. And I'll circle back to that in a second. But you trade in those points and they email you I think they used to email you a code, but now that I think about it, I think they just now add it to your account and then you can apply it in your basket. But basically, once you redeem it and get the reward, I think you have 90 days to spend it or to use it. And you have to use it all in one transaction. It's not like a gift card that you can just kind of continue to debit. And all the items I think that you purchase with it are final sale unless there's an issue or they're out of stock or something. So it's not as good as the Ulta Rewards program, where basically you can just spend the points like money anytime you want. You also have to sign on to the website at certain points, like I think it's noon Eastern, Tuesdays and Thursdays, to snag one from the rewards bazaar. So it's kind of a pain in the ass, if I'm being honest, and Sephora orders are a little harder to accumulate. I think before I purchased this powder, I'd actually gone like 2 months without buying anything from Sephora, which I think for the average person is not that remarkable, but I was kind of surprised and a little proud that I made it for 2 months. Unless there's like a really cool gift with purchase, like the YSL that I mentioned, or there's a sale. My orders from Sephora tend to be on the smaller side. That's why I do a lot of like cumulative hauls, that kind of thing. But anyway, so once I get the $100 Rouge reward, I like to spend it on something that's a little bit bigger, something that I'll kind of keep around for a little while rather than just kind of nickel and diming it. So I usually purchase either like a large palette or like a fragrance, for example. I think I remember getting my Natasha Denona Biba palette with a Rouge reward. Obviously that's more expensive than $100, but you just pay the difference. And I also picked up the large size of the Ciele Yum Pistachio, I think in May. I think that was the last one I was able to redeem. So anyway, so this time around I did kind of both. I got the Huda Pretty Grunge palette, which again is still kind of in processing limbo, and it hasn't been shipped yet. And then I also got the Tom Ford Rose Prick fragrance in the travel size, because that is a very, very pricey fragrance. And yeah, I was kind of weighing it up, figuring out how far each of those would go on their own towards the $100, and then the difference between how much more I had to spend versus like getting 20% off, if that makes sense. So like the Pretty Grunge palette is $69, and the trowel size of the Rose Prick fragrance is $80 for 0.33 ounces. So that was $149, give or take, but getting $20 effectively off the Pretty Grunge was more than the discount would have been. Girl math, right? So I had my eye on this Rose Prick fragrance for a while. I'd gotten a sample of it at one point, and like I said, it's very, very expensive. So I kind of had it on my radar, and I finally decided to go for it. So the key notes of this are Rose de May, Bulgarian rose, and Sichuan pepper. It says a wild bouquet of rose breeze inspired by Tom Ford's private rose garden. Rose Prick presents Bulgarian rose and Rose de May pierced with thorns of fiery pepper and spice, while Indonesian patchouli exhales around Turkish rose's precious heart. Sharp and pristine, this is a perfume so lovely it hurts. And I don't know, it tickled me a little bit too to get 2 items in the same order that had kind of that oxymoronic naming structure, like Rose Prick and Pretty Grunge. I don't know, that's kind of how my mind works. But yeah, so very much looking forward to getting this in the travel size. I have been kind of a fan of Tom Ford's fragrances, although this is, I think, the first of his more expensive perfumes that I've purchased. For example, I have his 50 ml of Velvet Orchid. I like to mix up my fragrances a lot based on like the season and what I'm doing and that kind of thing. So in all honesty, it makes more sense for me to purchase travel sizes. I also have a travel spray of Black Orchid. Unfortunately, I think when I purchased this, the cap on the website was gold, but when I got it, it was just all black. I think the gold cap with the black was really kind of eye-catching, but yeah, I like both of these, and I got Rose Prick. And then the last item I got, which is a buy online, pick up in store order. On that note, I wanted to say that if you do want to accumulate some Beauty Insider points more quickly than you might otherwise, Sephora is currently doing these like little challenges. So if you log into your Beauty Insider account, I don't know if you have to activate things or if it just happens automatically, but some of them do require spending money and some of them do not. So they're Beauty Insider challenges. So I just went to my account, which shows now that I'm just making sure there's no personal information. Paltry balance of 229 points. But you see, if you go to the app and you just click on your face at the bottom or your name or whatever, and then you go to Beauty Insider Challenges, and I already completed one of them. So you can get a possible like bonus basically of 1,000 points, which is like almost halfway to a Rouge reward. So this one, the Passport to Beauty, I completed. So I got 100 additional points for completing all tasks. And those were 100 points for completing the skin routine quiz, which is just one of those stupid like ways for them to recommend products to you, which takes like 2 seconds to complete. And this ends, by the way, December 22nd of this year. So if you want to jump on it. But then they also have buy a makeup product, buy a skincare product, buy a hair product. So they don't have any kind of, I guess, minimum spend requirement, I don't think. So yeah, if you're buying those items anyway, hopefully you'll get those points. And it looks like, I think these are automatic, so that's good. This other one that I'm working on, the Ready Set Sephora. So I've already signed up for their texts, and they do have this buy online, pick up in store. So that's why I ordered one of these items to pick up, just to get an extra 100 points. And then there's the get a free sample with online purchase, which is free to do basically. And then, yeah, most of these are free. You'd have to place, I guess, one order online and one order in store for pickup to get the full amount of points. But if you're buying anything, then you can do that. And the last thing is to get matched in store with Color IQ. And if you have been on my channel for a really long time, I used to do these how to find your shade videos with various foundations based on Sephora's Color IQ system. That was when they first launched it, and it was in collaboration with Pantone. And you could actually kind of figure it out. Like they had this whole like naming system, and you could go in and like figure out what number each shade was. So I would film videos based on that, and I'd make like little graphics and that kind of thing to kind of point you to what shade you might want to purchase. They've kind of revamped the system now. I don't think they have any kind of relationship with Pantone anymore, as far as I can tell. So when I do go in to pick up my order this weekend, I'll get shade matched and I guess report back. But I'm curious to see how that works, because I think when I first did it at one point, they had like some kind of handheld device, and now I think it's on a phone. I mean, I'm talking, it's been years. So, you know, technology has advanced and that kind of thing, but I'm very, very curious and also very conscious of this lipstick. So speaking of that last item I purchased, this was something I kind of hemmed and hawed on for a while, but I finally decided just to go for it. So this is the perfume sampler set for $85, and of course I got the 20% off. But why I decided to purchase it? So I've mentioned this before, and I think other YouTubers have as well, that if you are looking to purchase a fragrance and you already know what fragrance you want and that kind of thing, it's always a good idea to check to see if Sephora has one of these perfume sampler sets that includes that fragrance, because what happens is you get a set of samples and then they include a voucher where you can redeem the voucher for one of the fragrances in the set. And the size of that fragrance kind of varies depending on what it is. But for example, this particular set includes the Tom Ford Ombre Leather Eau de Parfum, and it redeems for the 50 ml or 1.7 ounce size, which is $155. So you're already saving a lot because you're paying $85 as opposed to $155, and then of course getting an additional savings on top of that. So it can be a great way to save additional money on a fragrance. And I got a little sample of this that I wore when we went to see Blondie, just because I wanted that kind of rock and roll vibe kind of thing. And I don't know, it just kind of stuck with me as something I wanted to buy a full size of. Like I said, I've enjoyed other Tom Ford fragrances in the past. And I think what really tips me over the edge here, I was thinking of possibly just purchasing the travel spray, which is $50 for 10 ml, but the kind of value difference there, I mean, I might still purchase the travel spray to go with the Rose Prick travel spray, because I, in particular, really love layering these fragrances. So, just to give you a little tip for something you might want to try. So the reason I like pairing these together, so The ombre leather is kind of a more affordable fragrance when it comes to Tom Ford. This is one of his more like inexpensive-ish perfumes, kind of in the same vein as the orchid scents, and it's also sold at Ulta. And that's another thing, like Ulta sent out a, I think 10 off of 50 coupon, which basically equates to the same as 20% off at Sephora, but if you have points or whatever at Ulta. Anyway, not to get too off track, but yeah, I layered these and I think they really work layered together. I think what I was doing was I sprayed one on one arm, so that's ombre leather, and then I sprayed the other on the other arm, so that's rose prick, to kind of decide like, okay, if I'm gonna buy a fragrance, like which one do I want? And I think just doing a lot of that, I was thinking like, you know, these fragrances would actually smell really good together. For me, the ombre leather, which I think is kind of a unisex scent, I think they market it as that. Rose prick is, I think, a little bit more on the feminine side, but I think ombre leather to me, like it has that kind of depth and richness to it, but it kind of forms, like when you layer these two together, the ombre leather kind of forms the base notes and then rose prick is kind of the top notes. So you have that kind of depth and sensuality to it, but then you also have that little like floral freshness from the rose, which I don't know. I just think they work really well together. So the ombre leather is in the fragrance family warm and spicy. The scent type is woody spices. And the notes are black leather, violet flower, and jasmine flower. So still kind of a floral, but it's a little bit, like I said, more unisex. It says the tactile sensuality of rich black leather, textured with addictive patchouli and vetiver, envelops like a second skin. The perfume's floral tones of jasmine sambac conjure wild desert beauty, while layers of amber and moss mimic the heat of rock and sand. So they both do have patchouli, I believe. So yeah, so they kind of have, I guess, a common note in them as well. But yeah, if you find yourself in a Sephora where they have both fragrances, maybe just do a little bit of a spray just to kind of see if you agree with me. But yeah, it's really nice, and it's a lot to spend. If you were to purchase both travel sizes, I think that's $130 for what is basically 20 ml of fragrance. But yeah, that was kind of why I was going back and forth between purchasing this fragrance sampler, which is a better value and you get more, versus getting two kind of travel sprays, because then I could use them both at the same. I don't know. It's a confusing time, the Sephora sale. That's all I can say. So yeah, so that's it. I'm pretty sure I'm done. I think I've spent enough money, but I will, I think, do a dedicated video to that perfume sampler. I've already taken notes on like different notes in preparation. So I think I might do just like a walk you through all the different fragrances. That was one reason I was kind of not sure about purchasing it, because I almost felt like I would have to film a video to kind of, I don't know, justify the purchase kind of thing. But there's like 16 fragrances in that set, which I think my nose is already hurting just thinking about. But anyway, it's a great thing to purchase if you either know that you want one of those fragrances, or if you want to give it as a gift. I think it's a great thing to give as a gift because you don't have to know what the person likes. I think there's a lot of kind of crowd pleasers in that set. So before I ramble on too much, I'll end the video here. But I hope you guys are all doing well and staying safe as we head into this crazy holiday season. And if you haven't already, make sure that you like and subscribe this video, and I will talk to you very soon. Bye.